the armadillos. Now, that was a problem.
One night's time, they could get in a tobacco bed and they could wipe it out. Where did they come from? What are we going to do with them and whatnot?
He came up with the idea of catching the armadillos to get them away from the farms. So he's like, let's go to help these farmers out. Let's catch some of these armadillos and let's have a little fun with it.
So what do? How do you have an Armadillo Olympics?
We had the broad jump. We had a beauty contest.
These little boogers are pretty quick. He can jump a good couple feet off the ground.
The process of training an armadillo is a joke.
You think you got him doing what you want him to do, and then boom, they do the opposite.
National Geographic was coming, New York Times came.
I want you to pass a bill designating the second Saturday in May as Armadillo Day in Georgia.
Pickleball, I guess, is the new big craze.
I would love to know your how and your why. How did you find out about Armadillo Olympics? As someone that never knew about it, I don't think anyone has. So please enlighten us. And then why did it kind of ring true to you? Do you have any connection to where it's from?
Well, I'll answer the second part first, I guess. I grew up in Brantley County my entire life, so when I went to make my thesis project for Georgia Southern University, I was looking for stories to tell, and I had remembered, reading about that story, and it was close to home, literally, so I decided to go with that. The way I found out about it is it was back in high school, actually. I was reading on the Wikipedia for Delano, Georgia, like the town, and there's a little blurb at the bottom that says, like, in the late 70s and early 80s, the town gained national recognition for an event called the Armadillo Olympics. So.
Okay, awesome. I also wanted to know, so you have a lot of archival information that's involved in this, and you also had a awesome cast of interviews. I think those guys could be comedians. How did you go about finding and connecting with them and getting all the information you used?
Well, back when I found out on Wikipedia this event existed, I found the New York Times article, the original article, and I'm reading this article, and I recognize all the names that are, they interviewed, these kids they interviewed back in the day, because I was going to high school with their children and grandchildren. So it was pretty easy for me to reach out to people and be like, hey, can I talk to your uncle? Can I talk to your grandpa? One of the interviews, actually, I used to go to church growing up with him, and I never knew he was involved with this event. So yeah. What was the other question?
My other question is, how did you find a lot of the archival?
Oh, the archival. I just asked them, and they are very, very into preserving the history of Brantley County, especially the main Ron and his sister. And so he literally had a trunk of hundreds and hundreds of documents. And so there's stuff I have archived that will never see the light of day.
Oh, wow, that's amazing. I also thought you utilized animation really creatively. Was that something that you had planned all along, or did it kind of come through during your editing process?
I think we thought that we were going to use animations pretty early on, but I didn't realize how heavily we were going to be relying on it, because originally I thought, okay, maybe there's some footage of this event, and there's nothing out there. Because a couple news organizations back in the day came, and I reached out to some news organizations and tried to see if they had any archival footage, and there was nothing. So we really ended up pivoting and focusing a lot more on the animations.
Okay, can we expect a 2026 May Olympics?
I talked to them about that, but I don't know that there's interest in getting, or the animal rights aspect of it, but...
It's true. I think we have time. Does anyone have any audience questions?
Thank you for showing up today, but my question is, generally speaking, what kind of grant funding did you get? One, funding. Two, to get people to speak in front of an audience of your camera, and the impact that's made on you going forward.
Funding-wise, we did a Indiegogo, so we raised about $3,000, and we only spent half of that. So the rest of that is going towards festival fees and stuff like that at this point. Getting people to agree to it, I think just because they kind of knew me, a lot of them, they knew my family members, so I just told them hey, I'm so and so's grandkid, and that kind of gave me their trust. And a lot of it is to just going and talking with them outside of interviews, building up a relationship and building up trust with them outside of when the camera's actually on and recording. And I don't know, there's some other stories in Brantley County that I'm working on, producing next, it really gave me a deeper appreciation for like the history of my hometown and everything.
I think it also highlighted the importance of community involvement as well as youth. We had one more question.
Well, I'd like to comment to congratulate you on your film. It was fun. Enjoyed it thoroughly. And I can tell you where your armadillos have gone. They've gone to my yard in central Georgia. They moved north. So if you ever lack for armadillos, you are welcome to collect them around my house. I will gladly offer them to you.
Thank you. I'll keep that in mind for the sequel.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for coming out. Have a great next 2 days and enjoy your time.